Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shenanigoons, that D&D Spelljammer campaign where science and magic collide and you contribute to the chaos. Hello, players. How are you all doing today?
Hello.
Hello.
Good.
Hello.
Welcome. Sorry we got a little bit late start today. We got some major tech gremlins going on. Shake that groove thing. Shake that. Thank you, Medic. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
Yes,
We haven't
Medic.
seen you in
That
a while.
helped. Thank you.
If I dance sexy, like what now? Yes,
If-
yes. If
I
that's
think they were
it's
asking if I dance sexy,
and it
will
was
take care of the
a
problem?
sexy pirate dance too, so it worked out really well. So let's start off by thanking our sponsors, World Anvil, the most robust world building and campaign management software that exists on the internet today. You go to worldanvil.com to get all the amazing features there. And then for free, and then once you're ready to take it to the next level, you can sign up to become a guild member, support them, and they will give you a bazillion new customization options, which help you make your world even better. Worldanvil.com, light up the forge. Next, you can go to dieharddice.com and support the most amazing dice company that exists anywhere. We love them to death. They are just incredible. So go to dieharddice.com. Use the coupon code Goonies for 15% off your first or next order. And very soon, I'm sure we will be start getting our giveaways ramped back up for Die Hard Dice as well. So that'll be coming soon. Go to nerdsmith.org to see all the other amazing shows on Nerdsmith. So you can do that. And then if you'd like to support this stream, you can do so in several different ways. You can donate bits, which will help improve the health of the ship for the next session. If you're not familiar with our show, it's a Spelljammer show, which means the players are flying around on a ship through space, lost in space at this point, and they need help. It's on a ship that is not really designed or prepared for what's going on. Yes, I know that's very tropey, and I love it. So they need help. So what happens is the bits improve the health of the ship. If we don't get enough bits, some sort of horrible disaster befalls them. And if we get plenty of bits, then they get some sort of semi-permanent upgrade, which you'll find out about with tonight's recap. You can also support our stream by making a donation down with the tip this show link down in the doobly-doo. Starting early with that. $5 will gift a reroll to the player pool. You can also give me a reroll. Thank you, Matthew. I still got mine. I will be using that sometime, I'm sure. $15 forces one player, your choice, to spin the wheel of causality, inflicting some sort of random pain on them, where they have to roleplay in a particular way, or with a particular inflection, or something weird happens in game to their character. So you can try that out. $25 allows you to introduce an NPC such as Jeremy, the amiable astral narwhal that was just introduced in session 2, I believe, by Matthew. And for $50, you can do a DM Ex Machina, which allows first wheel of the campaign, I believe, isn't that?
Yeah, I believe it is.
What? Oh boy.
Ooh.
Did you get caught in our filter, Medic? I'm sorry. I can't tell if he actually put those or... Anyway. $50 is a DMX Machina, which allows you to gift DM powers to one player for 30 seconds, while they get to introduce any sort of weirdness or solve any problems they wish in-game. Who's that for? Did we get a name
I don't
on
think
that?
they said. Medic, who do you want the wheel to affect?
Yes, Medic. Who do you want the wheel to affect? It has to be a player.
I also would like to point out that channel points, we have a new icon for Pass the Peanut. It is literally a little hamster. I'm very proud of myself.
Yes, that's the other thing. Peanut is with Flora right now. You can see our wonderful little hamster. It's instead of, in the past we've done a silly game where if we make different references, bad things will happen. Well, this is something very different. Peanut is their pet. giant space hamster, baby giant space hamster. That's why he's so small. And they have to take care of him. I told them at the beginning of this during session 0 that this would be the longest escort mission ever. And that is exactly what it's going to be. And the great part is they have to keep Peanut on the screen at all times. If Peanut is ever not on the screen, Peanut is lost, and they have to spend some time hunting him down. Mayhem will ensue. It's going to be hilarious. I already have 3 or 4 scenarios set up. But you can force the players to pass the Peanut around by spending 500 of your stream points. Doesn't cost you anything. You earn points just by watching the show. And you can do so with the little link down at the bottom of the chat.
Looks like Flora is the recipient of that wheel.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so-
saw that.
All right, so I keep forgetting to change that wipe. That wipe is not a good wipe. There we go for that. All right, here we go. Flora. I wish I could zoom in on the different players with the wheel and put them in a little circle. That'd be amazing.
But not a smooth one. Not a smooth zoom. It has to be a
Wascally
dun,
Wabbits.
dun, dun.
All right,
Zoom.
let's see here. Wascally Wabbits. Let's see what that one is. I don't. I don't remember. All right, that'll happen during the game. We'll go ahead and we'll get to that one in a minute as we get started here. But first, now that we've gone through all that, oh yes, and so right below me, you can see right now, you can enter any of those chat commands to learn more about the donations. Hashtag reroll, hashtag wheel, hashtag NPC, or hashtag DM30. You can also put any of the character names under a hashtag in the chat, and you can learn more about the characters and the players, including links to all of their information. I think we also have a hashtag players now or something like that. Hashtag Goonies. I can't remember.
so.
Something like that. I forgot. That gets you all the... Oh, no, the Twitch... Never mind. We put it down the doobly-doo. Down the doobly-doo, you can see the Twitch icons if you want to know who's chatting in
Our
chat.
Twitch handles.
Who's not paying attention to the game and talking to you instead because they love you that more than me. That's all. So let's go ahead and get our intro video started, and we'll come back with the captain's log. We'll be back.
Sailing the stars in search of a harbor. Won't you join our crew? Fly like a steady, even when it gets heavy. Amidst the chaos, they'll see you through. Dietrich's disdain hides a gentler refrain to keep our spirits up. And where there's a fight, there's probably Piper. She's tiny, but she's tough. Find what's hidden inside, discover secrets big and small. And there's Flora to smile through the horror and wonder of it all. Dermot the bear moves through his vacant stare, but they will fluff you up. So won't you come along and wish us luck?
All right, we're back. So we see Captain sitting in her cabin, jotting in her journal, speaking out loud, dictating to her journal. Once again,
Is it dictating if you're writing it down?
well, you're dictating to yourself.
Uh-huh.
So
I think I was just thinking
and
out loud. Sure.
this is Captain Aurora Packard, who is a... Can't remember the race. What's the race called?
Loxodon.
Loxodon. So, Captain's log. It's been nearly a week since we've left the undead planet. Readying the weapons against a horde of undead has made me painfully aware of how ill-prepared we truly are for this journey. Only after the standoff did I come to realize the cannons were not functional. Yet another system on the ship that would have failed us at a crucial moment. what will be next. Thankfully, due to our celestial benefactors and our scrappy Ensign Ricky, it appears the cannons and ballista have been fixed. I have ordered they stay in place and at the ready for the remainder of the journey, and that all crew and passengers learn how to use them. Having now had time to reflect on the undead planet, I have come to face my own mortality, unsure what graveyard I will come to end my life in. I can only hope that when the time comes, my death is swift and not lingering to the point of lost faith like those poor souls. I'm glad my passengers could offer them some peace. The passengers seem to have a knack for this sort of adventuring, having stocked us full of supplies and rations. Sadly, there was no fresh produce or meat, but for the moment we won't starve. I'm glad to have them along. On a lighter note, tomorrow is Ensign Ricky's 1-year anniversary with Nero, and though I really don't know him well, I'm looking forward to the celebration. I've knitted him a red sweater. I hope he likes it.
Oh, God.
So it has been a week since you've left the undead planet. You have been bored, mostly. You have been writing songs, earning subscribers, enjoying life.
Can't hear it tremendously, but is it loud for the audience?
It is louder than our normal music to the audience.
It's a little better.
Thank you, Matthew. I always prefer when Matthew gets his own song, because it's so much more fun that way.
I always like that too.
So it's been a week since you have left the undead planet. That means you've been traveling for almost 10 days now of your 1-day journey. What has concerned you the most? What are you most worried about back home? Anyone?
Oh, I'm not worried about anything.
Back home.
Yeah, what are you worried about that's been left behind? Do you have any missed appointments, any people, anything special, anything important that you are concerned about?
Well, I mean, I'm obviously concerned about my bookstore. I mean, he's really barely any more than an intern, really. Aiden, the young lad that I left in charge, and he's really probably wondering where I am.
All right, Aiden. That's right, Aiden.
It's almost inventory time.
Oh no, bookstore inventory is not fun. I've done it. It is. All right. Anyone else?
Kiri had, she's a bit of a social butterfly, had appointments and things, but I mean, granted that at least a few people knew she was going on this trip. There was at least, she's got an excuse that's pretty public. And she has a couple of people that she left behind it was not her intention to be gone for as long as it seems they're going to be gone for. So she's not reached the point of homesickness, but is concerned about how quickly that's going to come up for her.
Okay.
Piper is not really worried per se. If anything, she seems a little relieved to not be home.
All right. Dietrich?
Yeah, the announcement that he made on the docks, that the band was getting back together. He wasn't kidding about that. The band is getting back together, and so he's concerned that the other bandmates will think that he just up and just basically dropped the mic, for lack of a better phrase. So yeah, he's concerned for
ever tried to pull.
He's concerned for Franco, Gwyn, Ashy, Bobby, Enrique, and Charlie.
Is that Ashy, Bobby, or
No,
Ashy?
Yeah, it's Ashy Bobby. is
Ashy
one.
Bobby. Okay.
Ashy Bobby. Okay. Flora.
She's probably a little worried about some of the jobs she had lined up. Any gardens that she was supposed to help with or tend to, or animals she was supposed to go help speak to for people. That's probably got her a little concerned, but otherwise, her closest friends are actually here with her on the ship because Lilac's here and so's Dermot.
And your fox.
Oh yes, and her fox, who we haven't seen yet, which is okay, Logan. You don't need to bring her in. And
once he gets his hands on him, who knows what happens.
He's got some minor concerns, but nothing that's, like, oh no, I left Timmy unattended by himself for 3 hours. What's going to happen? Yeah, nothing like that.
It's a babysitter.
Yeah, nothing like that.
All right. Wow. So what have you been doing to occupy your time? Now, one thing you have been doing, each of you has been learning how to aim and fire the cannons and ballista that exist on the ship. As long as you are willing to do so. I mean, the captain's not going to force any of you to do it. But she says that it's important that with such a small crew, that at any time anybody might be called to help.
How much brute strength would be required for this? I find that I'm much better suited to supervisory positions.
So each cannon is a 2-man operation. One person aims while the other one loads and fires. And the loading and firing does have some strength requirements. However, two of the cannons are energy based. They're more magical based. And while they still do need to be loaded with different components, it's much lighter. You're not actually loading it with cannonballs.
Take that one.
I've been hanging out with Mo. We have a lot in common.
All right.
Yeah, and he helped sew up my teddy bear from the last mission. It's all better now.
All right. One leg a little shorter than the other.
Of course. It's a little bit patchwork, but it works.
Curry's at least been asking after Sue, in case she needs an extra hand. Or...
So Zoo is pretty much, other than during the larger meals, which is, maybe every couple of days she wants to prepare a larger meal. She asks for some hands-on to come down and help do prep. Chop up the soulless turnips and things like that. They're hard like leather. Other than that, she doesn't really need help, considering she does a lot of rotations of meals for such small groups.
Sure.
But she doesn't mind company, although I do know that Lilac probably spends a lot of time down there as well.
Well,
I was
then...
actually going to say that Lilac has reached the upper limit of how much Sue is weirding them out.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Oh, maxed out on that, huh? That's nice.
Oh, it only took 10 days. All right.
Well, with the avenue of, oh, please let me help you.
Pass the peanut.
Twice in a row.
You can only... But that's... You gotta give a second for the other person to have him, I imagine.
That's fine. Piper doesn't particularly want to be holding the small animal anyway, so it's fine.
this
Well,
was
medic, I think this is proof concept that we might need to increase the cost of passing the peanut. They're like, I have a lot of points. Well, with the avenue of, oh, please let me help you, perhaps a little spent, Curie would next try to entreat Sue regarding just academic curiosity about the kinds of more exotic foods that she's got in the store,
okay.
in storeroom, specifically just kind of curious about the stuff that would have been considered poisonous to the average person.
There's a lot. So she has quite a lot of stuff that on its own may make someone sick, but in the right hands could definitely be altered. I don't have a list for you or anything. The idea of this was more for you have this as a resource to be able to get the things you need to do the naughty things that you want to do, and that way we don't need to worry about. I didn't want to take something away from you that you really wanted to be able to do on this trip, because you couldn't find it. So
she's seeking resources.
You have a fairly good resource there, and a lot of it is scrap and waste. So you can, especially since most of the crew that could have eaten it are no longer here.
Then I'm doing a great service to the crew, and I will take that sacrifice for everyone's benefit.
Right.
You're
Okay.
very welcome.
Piper is trying to get a little bit more time with Lantern, especially after.
Oh, okay. All right. This one
after the
so
snow globe incident.
Where on the ship do you track down Lantern?
I think maybe in the library.
Okay. All right. So Lantern is, let's say, poring over some of the new acquisitions you guys took from the undead planet, and he is not really categorizing them, just kind of flips through them and then just tosses them aside almost flippantly. And he's doing this before you even walk in. He's just like, He's just like not even that impressed with it.
Anything interesting?
Unfortunately, no, nothing at all. Actually, boring. He's just throwing books. He's not even really looking at them.
Well, maybe we'll find something entertaining on the next place we visit.
Oh yes, we should definitely pillage plenty of books everywhere we go.
Had we been able to find any that weren't holy books, maybe we would have brought some back. Speaking of holy books,
he stops and turns, sits on the table, crosses his legs, 6-inch heels, or one over the other.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so, Tessa is like, yes, good fashion choice. I love it. So that snow globe, it's like you said, it's a powerful artifact, or powerful item, I should say. Why not keep it for yourself?
It had a church in it. It was a little gauche.
Just stylistic choices, then.
As I said, it wasn't meant for me.
Well, I just curious as to how you knew I would need it.
It had your church in it.
You didn't necessarily know it was my church, though.
Tessa, Piper doesn't wear a symbol openly?
No, she does not.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not catch that before, so I apologize about that.
She wears the colors.
Oh, all right.
But not an open symbol.
All right, so that's good enough. That was not in your background, so I did not know that.
Ah, sorry.
Usually, when I assume in general that any religious person wears their symbols fairly openly. Maybe that's an assumption that I shouldn't be making, but unless they say otherwise.
I will DM you as to the reason why.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I really missed that. I had no clue. Well, I just assumed because of the colors that you wear.
It
And
was
that
a good
you
assumption.
just seem to have some air of religion about you. And the lights, this kind of magical glow on his mask turns into this big toothy jack-o'-lantern grin.
Oh, well, it was greatly appreciated and came in very handy. So thank you. Anyway, anytime you would like to talk about free will versus divine destiny, I am more than happy for the conversation.
Anytime you like. So, Tess, you've never cast on the ship? I thought you healed some people and did a few other things. And
You know what? I have. I didn't know if I'd done that in front of him though. But yes, I have.
Well, I
cast on
mean,
the
are you
ship
casting
before.
other things? I mean, do you have like create food and water or anything like that you've been casting to help out, or?
I do not have create food.
Oh, okay, all right.
Let me actually. Before I say that, let me double check.
That's all right. Even if
Because
you
I
don't,
don't
I mean, it
remember.
doesn't necessarily mean you do. I thought maybe he, at least,
I
unless you're
had
using,
cure wounds was the thing I was using,
which wasn't
and
necessarily
I would
done
have
in
been
front of
using,
him.
and I could have been using my lay on
That's fine.
hands.
Yeah, that's true. I just remember you blowing through spells like crazy, but I guess that was probably on the planet.
It was on the planet that I was.
Got it.
I
All right.
was draining myself very fast.
All
I
right.
don't have a lot.
No, paladins don't get a lot.
Yeah, but and she'll hold out her non-gloved hand to shake his hand.
I'll shake your hand.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anytime. I'm here to help.
Now let's see if we can't find some suitable entertainment, shall we?
I have a feeling that some will be coming very soon.
Noted.
Where is Peanut?
I believe I saw him with Dietrich.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And he just turns back to the books.
Any particular reason why?
I just find that in entertainment seems to follow your new friend.
I don't disagree.
This is an odd way of saying that you agree.
I like to be contrary, I suppose.
Except you're actually not being contrary.
And that in itself is the contradiction. I'll leave you to it.
Oh, please. And he just, without even looking, he's just still looking at you, just tossing books aside into another pile.
Don't let Lilac catch you tossing the books. They'll take your head off.
Good point. And he goes over, he starts like stacking the books up a little neater.
There you go. And she'll exit.
As soon as you leave the room, you hear a bunch of books fall over.
Thought I was the cat.
Flora, where are you?
That's a good question. She's between the training that Captain Aurora is putting everybody through. She's been trying to work with, probably with Niesel, just because he seems to have an affinity for animals also.
Sure.
Or trying to get some sort of garden set up.
Oh, okay,
And
great.
About like what kind of stuff Peanut's mother preferred eating, so that she has a better idea of what they should be feeding him.
All right. This is something I'm still working on a system for, is how you guys can spend your time to make improvements to the ship. And we'll be working on this point system. One of the ways that I've thought about revamping our bits is to turn it into a system like this, because If we get enough bits every single week that we are shooting through upgrades left, right, and sideways, we may turn it into a point-based system where you guys get to decide to spend where you want, or down the road if we need to change things, that might be the way we do it. But we're going to work on you guys earning points. Shenanigoons.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Man, we got to the mod message of the day so quickly today.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, good God. And it's Jesse
Extended
again.
version.
Well, no, I have a moderator message of the night
Ah, got it.
now because Jesse was always the one I was picking.
Thank you, Lily.
I just say Lily's a friend of mine. Hi, Lily. Thank you.
Hi, Lily.
Hello.
And thank you, Medic.
And thank you, Medic.
Yeah, thank you.
So as you guys spend your time on the ship doing things like this, you'll earn points where you can decide to put them where you want to. So, Flora, what you and Niesel are doing is probably clearing out part of one of the cargo holds and creating a section where you can start putting a some sort of section where you can start to enchant, to be have daylight cast there constantly. To make it permanent, you'll have to cast it every day there for a year. Do you have daylight yet?
Nope.
Okay. So that'll be something we'll have to look into doing, figuring out how we're going to do. For now, there's some plants you could still grow here. A lot of fungus you could grow here, a lot of low light plants and things. There's some light that pours in through the windows, but not a lot. So you guys are working on clearing this area out. You've just finished clearing this extremely large area when Peanut comes rushing in. Please pick up Peanut, and Dietrich, put Peanut down. Leaps into your arms, and then roll me a D100.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Peanut is the vector of wild magic.
Yes.
Amazing.
14.
14. All right, so, and then roll me a D6, please.
3.
And then choose some six-legged animal.
Six-legged
Yeah,
animal?
some sort of six-legged animal, critter, creature, insect is fine.
There are only really critters.
Yeah.
Not
I don't
necessarily.
like it.
The Behir has 6 legs.
Peanut
Think?
is
A basilisk has 6 legs.
Crabs are tasty.
Okay. 6 legs. Okay, since I can't think of a D&D animal with 6 legs, besides the ones you just mentioned that I don't want to pick, how about a
Centaur?
butterfly?
A butterfly. Oh, perfect. So Centaur does not have 6 legs. It has 4 legs.
That's why I was asking if
Okay,
it was,
yeah,
there's
that
4
seems
legs.
weird.
It has 6
okay, you didn't say
limbs.
if it was legs or limbs.
I said legs. Okay.
What if you just said a 6-legged unicorn?
I would have accepted that. So as Peanut leaps into your arms, he turns into a butterfly. The same size, weight, and girth as he is now. And then what percentage did you roll?
14.
And then 14 large, and I mean large, butterfly stuffed animals fall down on top of you and completely collapse over you, filling this hold with fluff and felt. And
Melted friends.
after that, while Niesel is there freaking out, really not understanding what's going on, Peanut flies out of this pile that you are still stuck underneath, lands, and turns back into a hamster.
What's going on?
Give me a strength check.
I rolled a 7, so I don't think this.
So you're struggling.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
an
breathe.
8.
You feel fine. You can't. I mean, it's a little warm, but you're kind of pinned underneath these things. They kind of filled up this area of the cargo hold and pinned you between the walls and the ceiling and stuff. Niesel's trying to pull on them. He is not very strong, and he's like, are you all right?
I'm okay. Get Piper and Lilac.
Piper and Lilac. Yes, I'll be back. And you just hear Peanut sort of making noises and chittering above you.
It's okay, Peanut. I'm all right.
At
At least they're soft.
So Piper, Niesel comes running into the hallway as you are leaving the library. He seems very kind of stressed, but he seems too polite to just scream at you. And he stops and just looks at you.
Everything okay, Niesel?
No.
What's wrong?
Flora is trapped underneath butterflies.
Oddly enough, not the strangest request for help I've ever had. All right.
We'll need Lilac too, evidently.
All right. I'll grab Lilac.
All right.
Why don't where is Flora?
In the cargo hold.
Great. I'll go grab Lilac. Why don't you?
The butterflies are very large.
Interesting. Why don't you go
massive.
keep Flora company and make sure that she's okay, and I will grab Lilac, and the two of us will be there shortly.
I'll go make sure she hasn't been eaten.
Okay, that's a good plan. Lilac.
So you start screaming
Piper
down.
Starts hooking it.
And you find Lilac. Where is Lilac? In her cabin? In their cabin?
Lilac has decided to do what Lilac does. Try to maintain control over their life by cleaning. So I imagine you find Lilac somewhere in some corridor, just trying to white glove test some aspect of a pipe or something that they have been cleaning. And they themselves are a mess. They changed clothes, but the new clothes are already just have holes in them, and they're dirty, and their hair's all coming out of braids. But the surroundings are clean.
They're just oh, this won't do.
So there's a rag in one hand. Yes, what?
Sounds like we got a need for some strong folk down in the cargo hold. Something about some massive butterflies that might try to eat Flora, and we need to go rescue her. Thought you might be a good help with there.
All right. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's about my reaction, but let's
Can't they just fly off? All right.
Apparently they are massive, according to Niesel, so let's I don't think butterflies eat people either. But you know what? It's space.
What about
it's
space
weird.
butterflies?
I am uncomfortable.
Same.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So the two of you make your way down to the cargo hold. As you get to the cargo hold, you see at the far end, Niesel pulling on a very large butterfly wing, attempting to move it. This butterfly wing is bigger than he is.
I think it moved a little.
And you hear a muffled Flora somewhere underneath.
Are they stuffed animals or are they actual butterflies?
From this distance, in the dark, it's kind of hard to tell.
All right.
As you get closer, you realize they're just very large stuffed animals. Comically large.
I could sleep on that.
Feel free after you get them off me.
And they're really not real.
No, didn't I say that?
Nope.
I just
you
really
mentioned
don't like
Flora
butterflies and
not being
moths.
eaten.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Right. And being, of stature that is. Oh, all right. And Lilac's gonna go try to find Flora.
Yeah, Piper will go start
Uh,
yoinking.
all right. So, what's your strength, Piper and Lilac?
15.
15.
Okay. So the two of you have no problems, especially together, moving any of these large objects. As a matter of fact, each one of you could move one by yourself, pick it up, and just kind of toss it around.
They are small.
They are.
And
They are.
strong.
They are. They're massive for you. They're 4 times, 5 times your size, but they're stuffed animals, so they're fairly light. So you just kind of chuck them aside, and eventually you find Flora. And as you chuck them aside, Peanut leaps from one to the next, getting closer and closer down to where Flora is, and then sits on Flora's head.
Is Peanut still a butterfly?
No.
Okay.
How did you find yourself in that predicament?
I don't know what
They
happened,
appeared from the ceiling.
actually. Wait, what did you say?
They appeared from the ceiling, and they fell.
Oh.
And it's
Oh,
Lilac's
Riley.
turn at the wheel.
All right.
Auto parts. I don't know why that.
Yeah, I
'Cause
don't
we're
know
from
what
California.
happened. Peanut jumped in my arms, and then all of a sudden, he turned into a butterfly, and then all of that fell on top of me. It was really heavy. Thank you. They're really soft, though. If they stick around, we could make them into beds very easily.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could just.
They don't seem
Lay
to
on
be
top of
going
this.
anywhere, so
I can't move them, though, so someone would have to help me drag one around.
I'm not sure they're going to fit in the room. I mean, that's all that would be in any of the rooms. Might have to cut them in half, but that feels. If we take the wings off, they could be caterpillars.
Piper gets the most evil looking grin on her face and goes to the door and yells out, "Hey, Curie! Caught
Yes,
you a
dear?
snack!"
Really?
That's,
Shut up, Siri.
Is that the one you're looking for? Yes. I mean, I am a repository for knowledge. I'm not surprised. Curie will wander in with sort of a quiet, pleased expression on her face.
Cats
When
like
you walk
butterflies,
into the
right?
I don't
Lilac.
think I don't think that's an appropriate joke.
Curie walks very gingerly over to one of the stuffed butterflies, looks at it, pulls a dagger from her back and just cuts one of the at one of the stitchings, and starts kind of peering inside, wondering what it's made of.
It's just some sort of cotton fill.
Let's just cocoon into these things.
Oh, I could make a pillow.
You could
not
probably
even
make
a
100 pillows.
Anyway.
I could. New project. Thank you, Piper.
You struggle to get this through the door if you're taking one with you.
Oh
they
no,
don't
I'll
fit.
cut it into very specific. I'm gonna start
Okay.
cutting them into sheets.
So while that is happening, let's go ahead and see what our next wheel here is for Lilac.
Beautiful colors on the wings. I don't even have to do any work. I mean, I'll embroider them, of course. Everyone will have one. Monograms. I will need everyone's first, middle, and last initials.
Bamf. I don't
Social
even need to
security
know about that
number,
one.
credit cards. That's right.
So Bamf means that every time a certain number is rolled, I believe every even number is rolled on a die by Lilac. Lilac is going to teleport randomly in a different direction.
Yes, that's awesome.
So we will see how that works, especially on a ship when you can easily teleport to the outside. I believe it's only about 20 feet, so you can't go beyond the gravity of the ship, but you may be on different parts of the ship at different times today, depending on what happens. Kyle, you're not allowed to chat anymore. All right.
Okay, I have to that thing in chat. It's because of the Toy Story blooper with Mr. Potato Head with the blue clay. Just destroyed me as a kid. So That's where that comes from. Okay.
Yep.
No, that's
No,
where
I get
comes
that.
So, the rest of that afternoon is fairly uneventful. Was anybody else talking about how they were passing time, Dietrich?
Yeah, I think Dietrich, part of the original reason he was kind of excited to go on the trip was to like explore new like acoustic qualities in places that he's never been before. So he'd be like wandering around the ship, kind of like knocking on various pipes and various like wood things, just to like listen to it and kind of feel for the sound that's going through.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's just like trying to find music throughout the ship.
All right. Anyone else?
Dietrich's Bjork. I didn't realize that. Everything is music.
Everything is music.
Thank you, Ange.
It's only the SNL version of Bjork. I don't have an actual good version of Bjork.
Anyone else? Are we good? So
It's uncomfortably surgical how Curie is cutting apart this butterfly.
Piper is slightly intimidated and watching this, like, maybe I won't play that joke again.
Laura will help
Notice.
hold the butterfly still.
Mission accomplished.
So as you are continuing about your afternoons, cleaning up the stuffed animals, a couple of the crew come down. Ensign Ricky comes down and helps out. A scrappy young human young man with kind of ginger hair. And he comes down and helps remove some of the things, cuts them up, and takes them to various parts of the ship, puts them in the holds for use later, as you're not throwing anything away at this point. And after a short while, you start to hear the warning bells up on top of the ship. Now, these are not emergencies. These are more of a something is unique, something is new, something has changed, we've spotted something like that.
It's the plot point alarm.
It's the plot point alarm. As the alarm starts to go off, who is going to react and head up top?
The butterflies will keep.
Yeah,
Right.
may as well.
So it seems like most people head up towards the top of the ship. So as we've said before, the Nexus is sort of like a large gaseous cloud that you are sailing on top of, but also you can sail in different directions and it kind of fills the space around you, but you can also see a great distance. It's a very sort of strange space. And there's oxygen here. So you can replenish your oxygen in the Nexus, you can replenish it in the planet's atmosphere. The only time you don't have oxygen other than the bubble you carry with you naturally is through wild space. And while you were looking through this sort of pinkish, purplish clouds around you and this strange sort of light that seems to come from somewhere, you have no idea where exactly, off in the distance you see this vessel, this long, sort of almost metal-looking vessel that has these large green-filled canisters, probably 12 or 15 feet tall along the edge, 3 of them along both sides of the edge of this vehicle. And dotting along the edges of the deck are these sort of cannons that look like they have this same sort of green liquid inside of them. And 2 large smokestacks pouring up out of the top of the rear of this vessel. The vessel itself looks fairly clean. While I say smokestacks, it's nothing's coming out of them right now, but they are there, and the vessel looks clean. It doesn't look like it's dirty or grungy overall. As you've seen it, this light starts to come from it like a some sort of signal light, like a very bright sort of light. Unfortunately, the captain doesn't really understand what it could possibly mean. There's no interstellar law for signaling, but he decides to tend to take it as friendly, and he starts to sail towards the ship. and the other ship starts to sail towards you. Is anybody doing anything?
Glancing around that ship as best I can to see if it's armed noticeably. What
Yeah,
kind of
the
vessel
guns,
it might be?
the guns on the deck that I mentioned.
Sorry.
It's okay. So there are definitely some weapons. They look similar to like cannons and other sort of kind of strange, almost maybe like fire hoses. They all seem to contain canisters of this greenish liquid. But it looks also like this greenish liquid, as you get closer, is part of some large sort of spinning wheel that's in the center top between the two smokestacks, almost like a very large Price is Right wheel that you see from the side, and something encased in some sort of energy. This kind of green liquid is sloshing around as this wheel turns inside.
Is the ship man? Sorry.
You're not quite close enough yet to see that, but it does seem that there are some people moving around on it, unless you have some sort of device that might let you see closer. I don't know if anybody has a spyglass or anything like that.
Flora's gonna go look for Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy's sitting up top over in his hammock, his narwhal hammock, which is just a life raft.
The Wemmick. Jeremy, can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure. What can I do for you, Flora?
Well, do you have any idea what kind of ship that is? And she points.
He
One
kind
that's
of
coming towards
rolls off to one side. His eyes, the side of his eye, kind of turning towards it, being very lazy. No, I've never seen them before. I hope they're friendly.
That's what we're hoping too. All right, just thought I'd check. Thank you.
See, this is great. There's another ship, and maybe they know how to get help.
I have a properly oriented map for navigating a little bit closer to home.
This is it. This is the best. We're saved.
That's quite a conclusion to jump to.
I think the better conclusion might be that we're not the only ones out here. Take that as you will.
Jeremy didn't recognize the ship, so at least we know they're not one of the ones that tried to kill him.
Try to kill him?
What about
Sorry,
us?
I'm being unhelpful. You know what, Lilac? You're right. Let's err on the side of positivity, and perhaps things will work out as we hope.
I did think it was rare that I was being optimistic and everyone else was being pessimistic.
We should certainly take advantage of the opportunity then.
Right.
Just be positive and keep your hammer close by just in case.
Oh yes, positivity does not exclude being armed.
That's true.
Or outright violence.
As the ship gets closer, you can start to see that there are creatures manning the deck. They don't seem to be going anywhere near the weapons or anything. They just seem to be going about the day-to-day. They are small, draconic creatures. If you were to place them on Vale, you would call them kobolds.
Space kobolds.
Kobolds. And as it gets a little closer, you can smell almost kind of an acrid scent coming from their ship. It's a little pungent, whatever this you're guessing this kind of liquid is. I don't like it when you two do that.
Just made a Fast Times at Ridgemont High joke in chat, and it made me angry.
Okay. And just like you're having one of those unspoken, we're on the same page moments. It scares me. As it gets closer, you can see a few of them, starting to come to the edges and look and kind of wave. They're all dressed not fancy but nice. They seem to be wearing nicer clothing overall. Leathers, not like armor. Nobody's armed. Nobody's any weapons or anything. Several of them have different trinkets and things around their necks, some very strange looking artifacts that you're really not familiar with. Little bits of metal and things. One has like half a pen, like a pen cap, just kind of hanging there that's been drilled through, and just sort of weird, strange things. And they come and they start to fly kind of upside of the ship. However, the captain starts to look visibly ill. She's kind of holding her trunk, and you would guess the smell seems to be getting to her.
Are you okay?
I'm not feeling very well. This smell is making me nauseous. I'll try to power through.
I could see if Sue has any ginger.
That's a excellent idea. I'll go check. And the captain turns and leaves.
Dermot, having not been part of this yet, slowly realizes that they are all alone and starts to wander up to the...
Okay. As you're wandering up, the captain comes rushing past you towards the galley.
Oh, good luck. Dermot's gonna just kind of poke his head up and look around at the group. Is it safe to come up?
Of course, dear.
Yeah.
I think so.
Are you sure? You're not gonna cut into me and take the fluff out and make things out of me, are you?
Dermot? Dear, of course not.
I've been hiding because I was kind of afraid. The poor butterflies.
They didn't feel anything, dear.
Well,
That doesn't help.
I don't know about that. Okay.
They weren't alive
Don't
like
say
you,
that.
Dermot.
Are we sure?
Niesel's sitting like,
All right, I'm gonna come up now.
Curie, holds both her hands up to Dermot, showing I don't have any weapons on me. And then thinks for a moment, looks at Dietrich. Dietrich, dear, just for future reference, if you go about 3 fingers down from the top of the wrist, there's a pressure point right there that would have also potentially helped the captain, though I'm not quite sure of Loxodon physiology.
Right.
I mean, I don't have a knife.
Neither do I.
The ship is acting weird right now.
Well, we've got new potential friends.
Potentially. Lilac, dear, remind me in the future to follow your gut instincts. They seem like proper folk.
Indeed. Yeah, Heather, what happened is Logan switched to a different screen and we saw it flash through the stream chat real quick, that's all.
yeah, because something opened on the wrong monitor. Sorry about that. Because we've set up a completely different... I don't pull in the window anymore because Zoom doesn't let you do that anymore. So I have to pull in the monitor, so... Sorry.
So, Piper, looking over at them, kind of goes, actually, I wonder if they would enjoy the butterflies maybe as something to trade them for what they might have. They seem to have an interesting assortment of goodies on them.
Well, I do have, and Curie glances at Dermot for a moment and then kind of looks back at Piper with a bit of a conspiratorial tone, like, I do have a sample in my coat that I could show them, perhaps when Dermot's not around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So as you guys are talking about this, one of these kobolds gets up on the edge of the ship, and the two ships are very close to each other right now, probably only about maybe 10 feet across, a gap between them. Both stopped, and it starts to kind of chitter and growl and grunt over at you. Does anybody speak Draconic?
Yes, Dietrich will cast Comprehend Languages on him.
Does comprehend did speech? I thought that just did reading.
But he can understand it. So
Try to find a way to
okay.
non-verbally respond if we at least know what they're trying to tell us.
Oh, well, I can respond.
Oh, there we go. I knew you bots
How
were
can you
going to-
respond?
We work as a team.
What do you
Yes.
have that lets you respond?
Damn it.
I have an ability.
Because of the eloquence you clearly possess from your college.
Which
It's
is
called
what?
universal speech.
Oh, okay.
Oh golly.
We're going to play some telephone with the kobolds. Hopefully the translation will be clear.
Well, I'm definitely glad to not be the face of the party any longer. Oh wait, was that Piper or Tessa? I'm not entirely sure.
It's like I had built a character for a very particular reason, and that was not it.
So, Dietrich, what you hear as it repeats it after you cast a spell, although it does look at you a little warily when you do so, you hear, we aboard with permission. He kind of nods and he whistles and says to the rest, creatures aboard, permission granted, as you hear. And several of them start to push out a very long gangplank that connects the two vessels together. And it's got this long kind of wheel crank on one end that then actually clamps to both vehicles, so there's no chance it's going to fall apart in the middle of the nexus, unless the two vehicles separate from each other. I mean, it's obviously not strong enough to hold if one of the vehicles wanted to leave, but it's not going to just accidentally be bumped. Possibly something they've dealt with before.
Curie had her walking cane in her hand a little bit, like tentatively holding the handle to like disengage or to engage its other use, but then upon seeing that it's sort of a more friendly atmosphere, she kind of twists it back together and leans on it a bit more instead of being armed with it.
Okay. So then a few moments later, coming up on top of the gangplank and starting to walk across is a kobold that is decorated. He is
You mean decorated or decorated?
he has like long reddish robes with a couple of chains holding different maybe scroll cases and things. He's got this weird sort of horn decorations that's decorated. He has this staff that has this weird kind of vine wrapping around it, and it's wooden with these green crystals inside and on top. Almost looks like a lantern. There's a crank on it, and he's wearing some sort of backpack that has made out of metal, and it's got some sort of smokestack on top and various brass fittings and dials and a couple of more green crystals. On his shoulder, there is this sort of container that's got two of the vials of the green liquid as well. All of these things partially disappear under his cloak. And I have an image for you.
That sounds kind of awesome.
And we can share that to the audience.
Nice. Oh goodness.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
And he looks at Dietrich, who granted permission, and kind of stamps his thing on the ground and says, "Traders are come."
Is that a D? Traders.
Literally, yes, since Dietrich only knows the literal translation of the words.
Okay.
Dermot,
Uh-huh.
I could use some help communicating back to them.
All right.
Right.
You'll all understand me.
Right.
Wonderful.
That's.
The understanding is welcome.
What should I say?
We are travelers, and we have things that we might want to trade, and things that might be beneficial. As long as they also have something that might be beneficial to us.
All right. Hi.
Do they understand
welcome.
everything you're saying at all times?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I will read it this time. This is really the first time I've used it. As a bonus, it's a bonus action. I can expend one of my bardic uses, inspirations.
Got it.
When I do so, I roll my die and choose the number of creatures within 60 feet. And for 10 minutes, the chosen creatures can magically understand me,
So for the next 10
regardless of the language, and you have an advantage on charisma checks and to influence them as well.
Okay, so for the next 10 minutes, perfect. And you can go ahead and roll if you really want to. You at least got the main guy. Did we get to pass the peanut? We did.
It's one.
We did. He's now with Curie.
So, yeah, the main guy is the only
Okay.
guy that can understand
Alright.
me. So, I'm gonna talk in common though.
So, but
that
but
rest
the
of the party-
point is he understands everything you're saying.
Mhm.
Welcome. We have stuff to trade as well.
The welcome is accepted. Which I assume Dietrich then says to Dermot.
Oh, this is fun. I like this game. We should go to a meeting place, a trading room.
I think they came aboard the ship because they're looking to trade here. I think
Oh,
that might first time I've ever done this, really.
Our wares you may visit.
Oh.
Oh, like a little garage sale. That's delightful.
Your needs we are to know.
Oh, well. What should we...
Food,
Food. Yes.
water,
Anything that might aid in navigation or orienting ourselves correctly would be very welcome.
Yeah. Flora can create water, so we probably aren't low on that, but food for sure.
soap.
For how many
Something
people a
that
day,
can make
Flora?
sunlight?
How many people a day can you make it for?
Hold on, let me pull it up. It's a lot of water.
Okay.
It's gallons.
Just fill the swimming pool with fresh water. Sorry, I keep imagining a cruise ship, but I'm not sure how cruise ship this is.
So I have to prepare the spell. So Souffle would have to tell me I need to make more water. But I can create up to 10 gallons of water at a time into an open container. And it is a first level spell. So I could do it up to 4 times a day. So I could make 40 gallons of water a day if I need to.
For a crew of a dozen people, it's not going to be enough for bathing and cleaning and everything else that needs to happen.
Well, it's enough for drinking.
Yeah.
So at
No,
least
I don't
we're
think it
not
is
dying.
actually, because it's a gallon per person per day. You can do 40 gallons, you said? I guess 12. Yeah, you're right, it is.
Mhm.
So, but with cooking and everything, I mean, you're probably doing okay. You probably had some stores as well, but yeah, it's you're probably slowly losing, but you definitely had some water in addition to that. You definitely could have gotten enough water on the last mission. I'm not worried about that right this second. I'm just saying overall, access to water might be important.
Wouldn't
That's
say
fair.
no to a larger buffer.
and a map.
Yes,
That would be
navigation
useful.
and map would be very good.
And something that can make sunlight for growing plants would be good if you have
Oh
anything.
yes, I wonder what they're
The planets
But
are charted.
We could use a chart.
The planets are charted.
What do they need in return?
Damn it. Yeah.
Oh, I assumed it's. I'm just gonna
Okay.
relay the questions of the
I
group.
want
just 'cause
to
it's gonna
hear
be
everything
tedious.
you say because you say things very
Oh.
uniquely. I'm only going to be reacting to you. I don't mind
Oh.
them relaying it to you, but I'm going to only react to Dermot.
You're gonna hold me accountable.
I am going to hold you accountable.
So, what was the question, Piper?
What is it they are looking for in return so we can make fair trades?
Oh, what is it that you would like in return?
Your spare wares, we would know.
Oh, okay.
We've got a lot of the evidently some sort of butterflies now. Things left over from the previous crew members that we're not using.
That's true.
Bedding for the hamsters. I mean, Peanut doesn't use very much. He usually sleeps with one of us, so
That's true. And we've got all the stuffing from, sorry, Dermot, stuffing from the butterflies, so we've got that. He could use his bedding too if he needs to.
Yes, fabric and stuffing.
or he could just sleep on a butterfly as is without taking up the
Yes.
stuffing. We
Yes.
just
Completely
That's true.
intact.
leave them be.
I can fix it. I can fix it.
My friends, sliced up and murdered a lot of stuffed animals, and
They all
would
kind of
like
take
to-
a step back.
They would like to trade you parts of those animals, including the fluff that keeps their soul inside.
Oh my god.
I did no such thing.
He wasn't.
That may or may not be true. I'm just saying it anyway. It's fun.
Your
I love it.
animals,
I
we
love
will
it.
see.
Okay.
And a couple of the others step forward, like looking like, take us to your animals. Take us to your slaughter.
Oh, damn it. I'm not sure if you want to be there for that.
No. I probably should go to speak though.
Sure, you could just close your eyes.
I've already seen it. The carnage. It's all right.
Excuse me. I take offense. That was surgical No, this is not the time. No.
It was surgical carnage. Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Sure.
Dermot.
Piper is looking up and just like internally, I am not laughing at this. Do not laugh at this. Do not laugh at this. Do not laugh. And she's
My win
trying
suddenly
desperately.
became a loss. Curie will sort of take point, I guess,
All
leading
right. So
them to the
two
to
of
the
the two of
butterflies
those
and
kobolds go
storage.
with you. Dermot, you're going with the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that would leave the other three kobolds plus their leader up top.
I can only talk to the leader, so I'm going to be where
You stay with the leader.
he is.
I
Yeah.
believe we'll be able to non-verbally communicate needs.
And I can go with them since I
All right, dear.
understand.
Come
Right? Dammit, do you understand?
No, I don't understand.
I think, Dietrich, I believe you two are a package deal right now.
Right. That's fine. That's perfectly all right.
I am more than capable of
oh.
handling two gentle fellows.
I've got it. I got it. Piper creates a minor illusion of the butterflies to show them what they look like. This is what they look like. There. Now no one has to be separated.
Dermot,
Has a
at the same time, yeah, he does a silent image next to the one that Piper made, and it's of one of the butterflies that's all cut up and stuffing in a pile and like surgically cut.
Mine
and,
was
like,
a whole one because we didn't chop all of them.
I only got
Yeah, I
to
got
one
that.
before they showed up.
They
But the
mostly look like
imagination
that.
does
Oh no.
So as they look at Piper's, they kind of look and point and nod, and as they see Dermot's appear, they look really horrified.
Well, when one sees something upsetting, one tends to inflate the actual experience. So
So who is going to take down the two of them? You could always have one of the crewmen do it as well if you don't want to.
we'll just
You
have
would all
Ricky do
rather
it.
be. Ricky was my first suggestion.
Oh, that worries me for Ricky.
I can go because I can pick them up, So.
Okay.
It's true.
Lilac?
They might also be interested in some spare books.
No.
Fair enough. All right.
None can be spared. Sure, Lilac. How about I join you? If I need if I need to perhaps stitch them up quick,
Right,
to make
well-
it easier to travel with, I can help. Thank you very much for your help.
So Lilac and Curie, you start heading down with the two kobolds down into the hold. As you pass by nearly every single door, they don't stop, but they kind of poke their heads in and kind of look around, looking, you would guess, for other things they might want.
They're appraising us.
I get that. I don't think they can understand me.
Well, if they can, there's no reason to have
I
any.
think it's smart to magically make the things that we don't want them to take look very boring.
Oh, that's intriguing. Is that something you could do?
Just a little.
That's fascinating. There are days where I would have wished you had been there then.
So they do actually stop when you cross when you're passing by the mess hall, and they sniff the air and they kind of stop and they head in.
Oh well, crews led by their stomachs. Gentle friends. Excuse me. Curie waits at the door.
The first thing they do is they
No.
go over to one of the tables and they start to pick up the silverware and look at it and
Oh.
compare and chitter.
I mean, I don't blame you. It's portable. It's usually of high value, especially if you melt it down. But that's not what we're offering at the moment.
Can
And
I
they start to
just, like,
clank it together and
sporadically-
listen to it.
Can I just sporadically prestidigitate tarnish
Sure.
and just make the
Make
things
some
that we
thudding
don't want
noises
them
so they
to
don't sound so.
look not particularly
So
appealing.
as they look down and see that the tarnish has kind of just started to cover the silverware, they kind of look at each other and they're very confused by it. They just drop it and kind of shake their hands off, and then they keep sniffing and heading over towards the kitchen, where
And
Sue
then I'm gonna
is
make a
working.
really, really, really awful smell come out of the kitchen.
Okay, describe
Why?
the smell for me.
I was gonna say, by whose estimation?
I know, I'm sure it's gonna be something they love. What would Lilac be familiar with? The smell of really fresh kitchen compost.
All right.
Yeah, that's gross.
All right. So yeah.
Rotting.
All right. So this smell just starts to permeate through the mess hall, and you hear Sue start to throw a fit. Just start to you scream and yell, and you're not sure if it was the smell or the sound of Sue just freaking out that they just stop in their tracks and almost go to ground and start to hide, and then kind of skitter back to where you guys are, and keep walking down the hall.
That's
Lilac will just kind of shrug. That's just the way that place is. Stinky and dirty.
Curie leans down to Lilac as they walk. You are my new favorite. Don't tell Dietrich.
I think Lilac just looks really pleased with himself.
So
Slight smirk.
you, where are the stuffed animals right now? Were they kept in the cargo hold? Or are you taking them to the
we
eviscerated one?
we had heard the alarm while I was in the middle of dealing with the first one, so I would have left them there. It's like, okay, they'll be fine.
All right. So you guys head down to the cargo hold, which there's not a lot of stuff down here. It's the old crew stuff, and then these large.
Well, there's a lot of
16
stuff, just
large,
not a lot of things.
Yeah, 16 large stuffed animals, butterflies. And as you kind of walk in, they stop and their eyes just kind of get real big. They look at them and they kind of like start chittering at each other a little bit. And one of them just like shakes his head. And the other one walks over and starts to like inspect it and like pull on the fabric and check the seams and the softness.
So I'm small too, so I'm gonna go over to the one that Curie had started slicing up and pantomime like what you could do with such an amazing thing. I'm gonna like kind of crawl in one and pull it around myself like a sleeping bag and look real cozy.
Curie will
I don't know what else I can do.
Curie will take that cue from them and walk up to the butterfly and like take a strip that's there and like wrap it around the sleeve of her coat and be like, oh, like
okay,
like the worst Price is Right like modeling ever.
Lilac, go ahead and give me a persuasion check with advantage from Curie.
Sure. Okay. And if I roll any even numbers.
And it doesn't have to do with your any bonuses. It's what's on the die.
What's on the die, yeah.
Okay,
And it's
well,
only the
I
die
rolled
that you would
19
take.
and an 8.
So the 19 is one you would take. So it's not like any die you roll. It's any die that you would take. So you take the 19. So you're safe for now. And as you're kind of showing off this specifically, are you showing off the padding or the fluff or the actual fabric from the outside?
I was just crawling into it like a
sleeping bag. That's right. They seem to get really excited.
amigurumi.
And the other one kind of starts running over, and the two of them go in and join you inside of it, like they're doing a little nesting thing with you.
Lilac stiffens up.
There, I think you hit on the best selling point. Curie like peeks in.
They kind of like curl up and like lay at your feet and start to relax.
They'd be so cute if they didn't have a warship.
Hi. Personal bubble being. All right.
Curie lifts the fabric. Would you like to exit?
Well, right before you do, what type of shoes are you wearing?
Lilac?
Yeah.
I have given zero consideration to their footwear.
I need to know. Boots?
I can't even look down at what I'm wearing.
Laces?
I'm wearing dinosaur slippers.
I kind of love the
leather?
idea that if they're wearing kind of like highly feminine stuff, just straight up boots underneath the dress. It's very functional.
Yeah, okay, like brown leather, almost like LL Bean.
All right. So as you are about to leave, you feel like your foot is being held, and one of them is sniffing your boot.
It's important to politely set boundaries. Curie will lean forward with her walking cane and try to pry his hand off her boot.
As soon as you touch it, he's like, "Oh, sorry," and kind of steps back. Like maybe he either didn't realize, or maybe he thought it was just something inside the fluff or something. There's a lot of fluff in these.
Curie will wave them
And
down.
as Lilac gets out, they step out as well. They chitter at each other and then look at you both, and then point. One of them points over to the pile of old stuff from the crewmates.
We've looked through it. What do you think, Lilac?
I don't think we needed anything else.
Curie will like sort of wave them to go over, and we'll start kind of leading them over to the pile.
So they go over and they start to kind of dig through this pile. Back up top, Dietrich and Dermot, Piper's still there, and I think Flora's up there. So they they're just kind of looking at you, still waiting to know as the two kobolds and Lilac and Curie head off. They kind of look at you and.
Do they have any books for entertainment? I mean, Lilac really likes books. They might like having some new reading materials.
What do you have for trade with us?
Wares you may see, and he points to his ship.
We should go over and look.
Right.
All
With the
right.
two.
Thank you, Lily.
All right. So the rest of them, save for two kobolds that stick around over here, waiting for their companions, head back over, and they take you down some steps into their hold. It's just the first little area. There's lots of stairs that lead out of here, no doors or anything. Doesn't look scary. And as they do, you see that it's not just one section of stuff. This is basically a mini mall. And there are kobolds manning different shop fronts. It's like a flea market, and each one seems to have their own stuff. And so there's a lot of different things, all sorts of things. You can even imagine some of the things as varied as a flea market could be. This is so whatever you're looking for, they probably have something of.
Piper's gonna run back to the ship and grab some of her personal effects that she'd be willing to trade if she finds anything.
Dietrich will begin to look for musical instruments.
So you see pieces of what you think might be musical instruments at one particular vendor. He's even got reams of what appear to be sheet music, but it's not written like you would expect. It's not obviously the way we write sheet music, but the math of it is it's there's something to it. So it seems like this guy might have more.
Dietrich will pull out his pipes, which I don't have in the room, and play just a few little notes and look expectantly at whichever one owns the shop.
So the kobold behind the table there kind of holds up a finger, turns, digs through a box, and he pulls out this series of these brass pipes, brass fittings more likely. They have different valves and things, and he starts to blow on them and twist the valves and things and starts to recreate those notes with this very weird little piece of plumbing.
Yeah.
He offers you to use the pipe.
And Dietrich will try to mimic what he saw the kobold doing.
So it is
produce sound.
It's a little ridiculous and overly complicated, but for the most part, it's about as simple as a recorder. So once you learn the valves and how to twist them, you pick it up fairly quickly.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
What do I have to trade? I've got Dietrich will
So what is what did you play?
It's a set of panpipes.
Okay, so something small and simple. Got it.
Yep.
Do you have any other instruments with you?
I think he would have brought his panpipes and a flute.
Okay.
Jethro told it up in there. Greatest metal album? Are you kidding me? Anyway, yeah. So he'd show his panpipes and volunteered as a.
He'll take the panpipes and he'll kind of play with them a little bit. And after a minute, he takes both items and he kind of shows them to this guy, the boss that you've been talking to, and he just kind of looks over both of them and really studies them for a second, then nods, and he offers you back the pipes, this sort of weird, strange instrument that he's created.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as soon as you take
Thank
that
you.
back, he holds the pipes above his head, and he kind of shouts out to the room, and everyone kind of cheers, and then he puts it into the box that he pulled those pipes out of.
Yeah. Right. Well, that was energizing. Maps. Right. That's
A
what
chart. They're called charts. yeah.
Charts. Yeah.
As you are about to walk away, he's digging through a much larger box. And he pulls out what can only be described as a much larger, more intricate version of the thing that he just sold you. It looks like it's probably as big as a tenor saxophone, and it has probably 50 different valves on it, and 2 or 3 different mouthpieces. And he offers it to you.
Like, no, you show me how to do it. You show me.
Oh, so he takes it and he starts to blow into one of the ends and starts twisting the knobs, and it makes some pretty horrendous sounds. He doesn't get any clear notes out of it.
Right. The fittings are like the chaos of the universe, and your breath is like matter flowing through the energy channel. It's brilliant. Yes, I must have this.
He says you're the greatest player ever.
So it has been more than 10 minutes. Did you want to re-up your thing, Dermot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Dietrich, how long does yours last?
An hour.
Okay. I keep forgetting you can understand them, so I'll work on
I only have one more use left, and I'll let Dietrich know this, that we've got 20 minutes from now.
Hold that thought.
So he heads off. Piper, you, just as you're coming back over with your stuff, but in that time, Flora, was there anything you were looking for in particular?
She would have been looking for any store that looked like it was growing plants, especially because they're in a spaceship. So anywhere that's growing plants, they might have a light source.
So they have several plants that are growing, from weird-looking kind of fruity bonsai trees to large, sort of almost like palm trees that are about 4 or 5 feet tall, sitting in large pots at one particular booth.
Okay, she'd head to that one.
Okay.
And specifically, she'd be interested in the ones that are growing fruit, but also in whatever they're using for a light
They
source.
all seem to be edible. Well, just from initially looking at them, although you've never seen any of them, they share traits that you would guess that they're all edible. Nothing seems to be for decoration here.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, she'll start looking around and wave at whatever kobold is manning the shop.
Mm-hmm. So he waves back. He chitters at you a little bit.
I can't understand you, but hello. What are they using for a light source?
In here, it seems like these green lanterns with these crystals are what they are using. This weird green energy that they have.
So she points at one of the lights that's near the plant,
Mm-hmm.
and then points it. She directs it at this plant, and it grows.
Yeah.
She tries all languages she knows, just in case. She
Draconic
tries
is the
Druidic,
only
she
one they
tries
speak.
Sylvan.
It's not even a
Okay.
full version of Draconic. If anybody actually spoke Draconic, you would still be struggling to talk with them, but we're using magic.
Okay. So since Dietrich and Dermot are not with her, she can't translate, so she goes for something easy. She gestures at all the plants. All of this edible?
And plucks off a little tiny yellowish fruit off of the little bonsai tree and offers it to you.
Oh, thank you. And she'll smell it and try it.
So as you eat it, it does not have any flavor that you expected. It's got no smell to it, but as you bite into it, it's got more of an umami flavor to it. It's a little salty and it's got a little meaty flavor to it. Not what you were expecting.
Huh. Like a jackfruit almost, or a little breadfruit.
That's different. I bet Souffle would like that. What do I have that I could trade? She pulls out her bag of seeds.
Okay.
Not the ones that are in her necklace, but just her bag of seeds, and starts going through them because she's got them separated out.
Okay.
She pulls out what would she have that would be edible that she wouldn't have already planted? Probably like roses, because you can eat the petals. And I'm trying to think of edible plants. Roses, and there's some, I don't think it's chrysanthemums, but I know there's another flower that looks like them that's edible.
Okay, so you pull out a few edible flowers.
Mhm.
Okay, and some seeds, and she kind of looks at them and sniffs on the seeds a little bit. He obviously recognizing what they are, but since he doesn't know really what they do or what they're going to grow into, he seems uninterested.
Yeah, she can't. I don't think I have any illusion stuff. Even if I do, I don't think I have it prepped. Oh, wait, I can druidcraft. Okay, I can make.
Does that stick around?
No, it doesn't last forever.
Okay.
It's hold on, I'm checking. Yeah, it doesn't let me create a plant. You would expect it to let you create a plant, but it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Sadly. Okay.
A Piper could have gone with you. We are touring around together. So if you needed
fair.
her to create something, I could.
Piper, can you make an illusion again to show him what the plants will look like? This is a rose, and this is
sure.
like a chrysanthemum type.
So she'll make a
and
minor
photo.
illusion of a bouquet of roses and chrysanthemums.
Okay, so as you do that, the kobold kind of leans in and kind of sniffs at the illusion, and
she points at the seeds and then makes a growing motion and then points at the illusion.
Yeah, and kind of sniffs at them and then shakes their head.
Okay, yeah. Flora would point at the flower portion specifically, and then take the flower, like pretend to take the flower and eat it, and explain that it's edible.
Still doesn't seem interested.
We did just get our family photo tagged to please do kobold faces.
I don't even know what that
Kobold
means.
faces. All right, so family photo tag. Angela, please explain this to us once more time.
Okay,
Once
so
more time.
I'm just gonna say like 1, 2, 3 cheese, and we all just smile for a picture, and then this will go up on Twitter with as like a little postcard to the person who
Got it.
requested the family photo. So y'all just smile, and I'll take a screenshot, and we'll be done.
Smile like a kobold.
Like a kobold. All right, 1, 2, 3 cheese. Thank you.
Okay. So, Flora, while you're working on that, Piper, was there anything you were looking for in particular?
Piper was looking for 2 things. She's looking for books, specifically for Lilac and Lantern. And then also, if she can find like a mini kind of embroidery kit for Curie as kind of an apology for the joke. And also meat as she's walking around.
The sewing, you definitely find embroidery and stuff like that. Crochet, there's a whole set of yarn and stuff. That's actually one of the reasons why they're interested in the butterflies is because of that. The cotton inside is very appealing. So they have some things there. So that's not hard to find. Meat doesn't seem to be any meat here. And the what was the third thing? Books. They don't have any books. There are no books here.
Do they have any sort of like paper or
lots of paper, parchment, different like the sheet. One of them has the sheet music and things. It's weird, kind of. Not quite sure how to read it exactly yet. Sheet music, but it's there.
Do they have anything that would classify as like items to aid in entertainment, aside from the musical instruments?
They have costumes. They have some clothing and things. Musical instruments. Nothing else that you can see really, but there's a lot of stuff here. Just random stuff.
Well, she'll at least go over to the person with the embroidery things and pull out of her pack that's been very neatly rolled a very fine set of clothing.
Okay. All right. So they get a little excited when they see it. They do have some humanoid-sized clothing, and they kind of look over it and.
Well, I'm small too, so it may actually fit.
Oh, that's true. So maybe small
because I'm gnome-sized.
And they kind of look and they kind of point at like asking what you want.
She'll point at the specifically the embroidery bits, and do they have any like? Do they have any nice like folding paper? Like
not at this particular booth.
Okay, I will hold on to that then. But
right.
So it's like it's basically a noblewoman's ball gown that she pulled out.
Okay.
So she'll definitely take some of the yarn and the embroidery bits.
So you get some yarn embroidery bits, and you make a trade there. Is that it?
Yeah, she'll make trade there for that, and then try and find some nice folding paper.
Sure. They don't really have anything thin like origami paper. They do have a lot of really nice paper that they seem to have gotten from somewhere. They don't seem to make it, but they do have some really nice paper, but nothing that's like designed specifically for folding.
Yeah. Then she'll get some nice paper.
Okay.
And then just look at generic, like what kind of trinkets they have.
Okay. They have all sorts of different little kind of little trinkets and tchotchkes at all the different booths. Little tiny idols from different places and little, some of you would guess would be different holy symbols from different planets and things around. As I did mention before, there's one place that seems to have a bunch of sort of maps of the Nexus. They have different weird sort of maps looking around different parts of the Nexus. So that works well.
Okay. Well, then once she does that, she'll go over to Laura, and she'll offer the person who's selling the flowers a big iron pot that they could maybe use to grow more plants in.
So what were you trying to get from them?
I was trying to help Flora with her trade.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because they didn't seem interested in the seeds.
So after
Flora's probably digging through her bag looking to see if she has anything else worth trading.
After a while, you seem to come to some sort of deal, and yes, the pot is accepted, and after you sold your dress, the whole cabin did the cheer again. And then as it seems like you're interested in the plants and things, also the kobold at the place where you got the embroidery thread seems to talk to the floral person and ends up agreeing to a deal that you didn't think they were going to agree to a moment before. You would guess there's some sort of change that you got, some sort of credit you had at the one booth, and that they seem to have made some sort of agreement to pass that credit, that maybe your dress was worth more than what that was.
Right.
After a while, a little bit more looking around, Curie and Lilac, you come back up. The captain now has some sort of paste smeared over the tip of their trunk, so she can now breathe and comes back up to the top of the up with you. Comes up with you. And says, "So, how goes everything so far?"
Seems that they're quite keen to trade. I'm not sure everyone is, but we were just showing these two fellows the recent acquisition we had made of giant stuffed animals.
Give me perception checks, both of you.
All right. 20 total.
Less than 20, I assume. What
was the die?
Well, that's why I'm making a face.
What was it?
Because I have a 12 on the die. It makes it a 13.
So a 12,
the die
a 12 on the
shows,
die.
right?
So roll me a d8, please.
Okay. 5.
5 is odd, vertical, which is up. So you just kind of bamf out of existence and appear on the top deck of the ship. With a moment later, and they're just kind of, you fall just a short while, maybe a foot down, and kind of land on your feet. And a couple of kobolds on deck are like surprised that you just appeared there out of nowhere. So is Niesel, who seems very, very taken aback. Are you okay? And Curie, as you feel, you kind of see Lilac bamf out next to you. The captain says, "Which two?" And you look around, and the two kobolds are gone.
Shit. I wonder how scared they were of the mess. Perhaps it would make sense to alert folks that there are two erstwhile kobolds around. I'll go find them.
Excellent. And the captain heads up on deck. Lilac, what are you doing after you appear?
I appear with everyone else, where everyone else was waiting.
You're just on deck, not necessarily near anyone else. Everybody else is over on the other ship at this point. You're just on the top deck of your ship.
Oh, okay.
You just basically went
you said
up
there were
about
kobolds
2
there,
decks.
so I thought that.
There are a couple of kobolds that were waiting for the other kobolds to come.
Okay.
So they're just kind of standing there, and you just kind of appear near them, and they just kind of get startled. Liesel's there as well, a couple of the other crew, Ensign Ricky.
That was deliberate. Hello.
The two kobolds kind of look at each other and shrug. Liesel comes over. Are you okay?
I think the kobolds are casting weird magic on us.
I agree.
Don't let them know we think it's weird.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Everything is fine.
Thank you for your not weird magic. The captain comes up on deck as you've been over there for about another 20-30 minutes working on making different trades and deals and things. And if there's any particular, we can go over that in a second here. But Dermot, you have run out of your ability to talk. You've made as many deals as you can. The one thing so far that you've not been able to finalize is the deal for the charts, the kind of guide around this area. They seem to be very expensive. And he needs to hear back from the other kobolds in the ship about what they might want at this point.
I would have offered my blanket with our system on it that had that.
Oh, okay. So that's on the table. Okay, great. You will. I'll definitely keep that in mind because that is important.
Hyper's just trying to find a couple little things, basically something for Lantern, something for Ricky because it's his birthday and is willing to trade, a mess kit, iron pot, dragon chest set, or glass blower's tools to find whatever she can.
Okay. Sorry. Oh gosh. So as you as the leader seems to go back, start to head back to the other ship, looking for his appraisers. He sees the captain's there, and he starts to head over to the captain, and starts to converse with the captain, at least trying to. And the captain kind of looks down and shakes her head a little bit. Does anyone understand what these little creatures are saying? So Dietrich, you come back over as well. I forgot that you were probably there. She looks at you, and so she had the leader has said that. Let me think how to put this. Magic language barrier destroyed.
I'm sorry?
Magical language barrier destroyed.
You understand? You understand me?
No, I didn't understand you. Sorry, I forgot. I forget you're not the one that able to talk to them. But that is what you're getting is a literal translation of what they're saying. And he's like looking for approval from the captain.
They're saying literally magic language barrier destroyed.
I can't speak to them anymore.
And the kobold turns and points their staff at one of the cannons, kind of across the deck nearby.
I can communicate. So Dietrich will walk over to the cannon. This. What do you call this?
All right.
Because Dietrich can understand
right.
him, just not vice versa.
But I thought he was looking for their word of it. And he goes, cannon.
Perfect. Cannon. Right. That was perfect. Destroyed. What? Language barrier? Language barrier? I probably don't understand what I'm saying.
I don't understand what you're saying. Most clear language he said so far. No, what he says is, he looks a little flustered and says, language barrier. He kind of turns and looks at one of the other kobolds and shrugs.
Captain, I think they're asking for your permission to do away with the language barrier, possibly.
By all means.
Maybe something that will help us.
And he points again to the cannon.
They want one of the cannons in order to allow easier facilitation of language. We'd have to trade them one of the cannons.
I'm not sure what exactly they're offering in exchange, but what do you think?
I think it's, I don't know, some sort of like, something that, can understand languages that are spoken to it and translate them into our languages, or something of that nature. Or maybe it's some sort of magical understanding that can be bestowed upon us.
Do you think we should do it?
Yes. I think in the long run it'll be the most efficient use of resources. They obviously already have weapons, so they could have used them against us already. They're not going to use the cannon against us. We've got more than one.
All right. and he kind of looks and says, we agree to your exchange. And the couple looks excited and a little surprised, and looks at Dietrich and just kind of verify that, okay. And so the leader kind of lets out that same kind of trill, and everyone kind of cheers that's around, signifying that they have completed a transaction. And one of them runs off to the other ship. Angela, Curie finds the two kobolds in various different rooms, kind of picking through different things, organizing, putting things onto beds that they want to trade, maybe you would guess. They just kind of started going through.
Being used.
There's nobody in them right
people?
now, but they are people's personal effects.
Right.
And they pulled out like any gold they found, any gems. They've pulled out fancy clothing. They've pulled out anything that looks odd. They pulled out Piper probably has a snow globe on her, so they pulled out just different things and put them onto people's beds.
Curie tries to corral them a little, like these. No, not these. And then Curie goes, "Do I know where Lantern's room is?"
Yeah, they don't seem to have gotten to it yet.
Well, Curie will go, "No, not these. Come with me."
They'll start like hopping and following you.
And all Sorcerer's Apprentice style, we'll start leading the kobolds to Lantern's room.
Okay. So you lead them to, it's just another door or two down in this area. And do you point to the door? Do you open the door? What do you do?
I gently indicate it. I lean against the wall and I just wait.
Okay. So they pop open the door and they go in and they start to rifle through all of the doors and drawers and under the bed and everything like that. And we'll get back to you in just a second. So the person that had run off comes back with this weird contraption. It actually looks like some sort of bronze or brass box with two of those large canisters that are holds full of green liquid almost to the top. And it's got this huge crank on the side. And he brings it back over, and there's two other kobolds with him. These kobolds have like vests with tools, like all these little tiny tools, tiny hammers and tweezers and wire cutters and sort of chalk and different types of writing utensils, and just all of these weird kind of tools, clockmaker's tools, you would guess. And the three of them just kind of start to go down into the hold of the ship. And the captain kind of looks at Dietrich a little worried.
No, it should be fine. I've been in that room. I'll go with them and make sure that they don't mar any of the arcane runes that are in there. I do have the repair kit, so I can fix
Just
anything
handle
that
it.
might be.
I'll
Right.
deal with this.
Okay.
And thank you guys. Thank you, Raven. So as the next few short amount of time, 20, 30, 40 minutes goes by, you are absolutely right, Dietrich. They do go down to the main sort of room that controls all the scientific or spelljammer type of equipment and systems on the ship. They find a particular place on the wall. They go up to one of the runes on the wall. They point at it. They all agree that's the right place to do it. They start to mount this device over that rune that seems to encapsulate part of the system that one of the runes that covers the entire ship. It's one of the runes that talks about the spatial relation around the ship. And so they start to install this box on the wall. Are you going to do it or say anything?
He'll go stand like in front of the door
The
to
secret door?
Mo's,
Yeah, they're not on that wall.
Yeah, and just like lean against the wall and just
Perfect.
kind of like hands in pockets watch.
All right, and they're going to take some time to do that. And in the meantime, several other people have started to make other, the other crews started to make other deals. You guys have probably made a few small deals yourselves. Curie, after a while, they pop out and they just, and they give a thumbs up as they look like they may have recorded, written down some interesting things, and are heading off. As you look in, you see a very strange assortment of things in this room. So as you pop your head in on the bed, and everything was very neatly gone through, but on the bed laid out this beautiful sort of array of just like a pocket dump, a nice photo for Instagram or something. There is this leather roll. And in this leather roll, there are probably 24 that have been removed and carefully laid on top. 24 different types of bone tools. You would almost say that there's some sort of lockpicks or tinker's guild, but they're all made of bone. And then next to that, there are these very long, thin, natural crystals that have been mounted onto sort of like long rods. They're about 12 inches long each. And there's 3 of those, and there's a blue one, a yellow one, and a red one. And then below that, there are a series of these long ropes. They're not actually very short ropes. They're about 6 to 7 millimeters, maybe half an inch. And they're probably about 3.5 feet long. Each, and each one is in various different colors, like 10 different colors, but they are just about 3 feet long. They're all exactly the same length, and they're all tied at the ends to prevent fraying and things. And in addition to that, there is another mask that is there, a black, smooth mask, but with no face on it.
Curie. Curie puts a glove on.
Okay.
And walks up to the mask.
All right.
And she just runs her finger along it. She doesn't try to pick it up. She
Okay.
just kind of...
It's very smooth.
She takes sort of a mental note of everything she saw and makes her way out.
Okay.
It's not about taking things, it's about knowing what's there.
Oh, yeah. All right. So you've got an idea of what's there now. And
Curie now has a theory that he's just 3 goblins in a trench coat.
They have to hold themselves together.
Yep, I apparently waited till Ren took a sip of something just to get him. Sorry. I'm so sorry. And I will leave the door open so it looks like it has been entered and messed with. I'm not going to close the door after myself unless the kobolds were doing that.
No, they were not.
Then no, I leave it like the rest of them.
Okay. As the kobolds head back upstairs, they start to report back all the different things they've seen. A few more deals are struck. And the kobolds seem to start bringing over different items, including the star charts of this area. They do take the blanket, Dermot, and they start to take the different things that were theirs, the personal effects anybody would have given up, and things. And after a short while, just as things seem to be kind of finally wrapping up, Dietrich, one of them cranks the handle on the side of this device. You see that the green liquid starts to kind of churn and bubble a little bit. And one of them looks at you and goes, "Do you understand us now?"
Yes.
"Oh, it works very well then. I am very happy for this."
I also am very happy for this. How does it work?
Magic.
Right. Is the green substance some sort of fuel
Yes.
that will need to be replenished?
Eventually.
How does one replenish that fuel?
You buy more.
Perfect.
From you.
And how do we find you again, if need be?
I don't know. You should talk to our leader.
Perfect. On the off chance, thank you so much for what you've done today. Very appreciated. This is going to be wonderful that we don't have to deal with this anymore. Have you, by chance, seen a large pod of astral narwhals?
Oh, yes, the whales. They migrate every year.
Where do they migrate? We have a friend who has been looking for them for some time.
What friend is this?
One of them,
One of which?
the whales.
Oh, you have a friend of the whales.
I suppose.
I'm confused.
So it's a whale that's looking for his family, and I was wondering where his family might be. So that's what I'm asking.
They kind of look at each other and they chitter for a second. So you kind of understand that if you don't want to be understood, it almost looks like you can force it not to be. You're not quite sure how that works. Or maybe they're just using some sort of coded language that you're not familiar with, or maybe they just use sounds. And one of them kind of skips over and goes, "You say a whale all by itself?"
He's not for trade and not for sale.
Is it Jeremy?
Yes, it might be. Yeah.
They kind of like turn to each other, like get wide-eyed, and they turn back. We need to be going now. Thank you.
What's
And
wrong
they
with
just start
Jeremy?
leaving.
What? The plot thickens. Right, well, job well done. Good job, me.
And as you follow them up onto deck, immediately they go over, and you may have started to realize that you can talk to some of the kobolds now. And another one leans over and goes, "Jeremy is here." You hear one say the other, and they get a little startled. They go, "Oh," and they turn and they just start heading back. And en masse, as the word spreads, they all start to leave the ship.
Sorry, is the word for narwhal in kobold translated to albatross?
Oh God.
I don't know. I just
Maybe
said
Jeremy means albatross.
I was just asking if they knew where his family was, and they were like, who?
So-
and I said, Jeremy. And
Are you saying this in view of the leader who's still there, or in sound, an audio of the leader? Or are you trying to keep it private?
well, it looked like Curie was asking, like you were asking about it, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, but he would have been
Okay.
like saying
What
he
happened?
didn't
So
necessarily
the
want to hide
leader
it.
kind of turns to you and nods and says, "We've heard that Jeremy, this whale, is bad luck.
He seems rather passive to me.
Bad luck in what way?
The trouble follows him."
I don't know.
Well,
If that's necessarily his fault.
Trouble follows us a bit too.
And he
so
grabs
maybe it was
onto he grabs one of the star charts and he starts to mark on it in chalk, just lightly, showing you the path of where the whales will migrate over the next year. They will be along this path somewhere.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That is very helpful.
Heed the warnings, and he points to several different places on the map that there are warnings about places you may not necessarily want to go.
Much
Is one of
obliged.
them the purple planet?
All right. Business is concluded. And he lets out that trill, and everyone cheers as they are leaving quickly.
Do you have a set patrol where we can find you again?
No,
Do we have a
Then
way of contacting you?
we have a way of turning up when you need us.
Oh, good. I love people like that.
Draco Sex Machina.
Was I able to find a little something for Lantern and
Yeah, you can just
for
whatever you think
Ricky?
is reasonable trade. Go ahead and just
Okay.
if anybody has any other trades for minor objects they want to do.
I didn't want to like take time for it, but I
yeah,
wanted
that's
to-
what I'm saying. You know, if there's any questions you have, we can talk about it afterwards. And so they start to pack up. They start uncranking their gangplank. Anything else you guys want to do?
Well, first and foremost, Curie's going to go, all right, I think you're a bit of an accomplice. Now I should pass you on. And she will... Yep. Yeah, you go, dear. And Curie watches them leave. Well, that was a shame. I didn't really get to look around. I only got some of my window shopping today.
Piper kind of sidles up next to Curie and hands her a small box.
Oh my, what is this?
Just some stuff.
Stop cramping my style, Kyle. For what reason do I owe such a gift?
'Cause you're not terrible. And she walks away.
High praise.
I beg to differ sometimes.
She doesn't
Curie's
know me
not
very
terrible.
well.
She's just a self.
I said she wasn't terrible.
She doesn't know me very well, Flora.
Still, it was a nice gesture.
Oh, of course, I'll have plenty of. I have to finish Jeremy's. Is it a horn? I was always under the impression it's more of a nail in material.
I always thought it was a tooth.
Maybe it's that. A tooth warmer, then. I need to work on Jeremy's gift. And this will help very much. Thank you, Piper.
Welcome.
You're forgiven.
In the end, they did take all but 2 of the butterflies. One was the one that Curie was working on, and then one other. They did take a few of your supplies here and there, nothing food related. No one traded anything personal that they didn't know about. Obviously, because Curie stopped them from looking through any of that, so we don't have to worry about that. And while they did approach and ask Lantern for some things, they did not. He did not seem to want to trade for anything, and he was a little. You could tell by the look on the mask that he was a little miffed that they went into his room. But they do not.
Piper.
They did not seem to rat you out, Curie, and say that it was you that let them go in there.
They know
Piper
the code.
Piper places a little box at Lantern's door that has a unique gaming kit that she picked up.
Okay.
And then a little wrapped gift at Ricky's door for his birthday. And then in Lilac's room, while they're busy,
Not birthday,
she places
anniversary.
a bunch. Oh, anniversary. Sorry. While Lilac is busy, Piper places a box in there with a bunch of nice paper that she found that she thought Lilac might like.
Did we say that the door to Lantern's room was no longer open?
Well, that's a good question.
It was no, it was still sitting open.
Still
when you went down there.
Then Piper would have put it on Lantern's bed, and then looked at the ropes and gone,
Slowly and with a bit of a view.
kinky, and walked out. And that would have been the comment she made, is she put the present on his bed.
Okay.
Well, we can all understand, at the very least, space kobolds now.
And actually, if you play around with it and test it, you actually find out that you can understand pretty much every language. Anybody who speaks any language on the ship at this point, you can understand, as if you were hearing it in your own, as long as you've cranked up the device once every hour or so.
Is there any discernible difference in the level of fluid when you crank it?
Not that you can see. it does bubble and kind of roil a little bit, but you would guess there's a lot of use left.
Cool. That was what I was getting at.
We don't
It
necessarily
definitely-
need to keep it on all the time.
Correct. It turns
Yeah,
off
'cause
after an hour. You have to
We're
hand
only going
crank
to
it to
need
get
it
it going.
when we run into a ship where we can't speak with the people on it. Because we all speak common or can communicate with each other at least somewhat, I'm assuming.
Common for most part, yeah. Dietrich, give me a perception check while you're hanging out on the ship.
Okie doke. Oh, that's real not good. That was a, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use a reroll to
Stunning me.
reroll that natural one.
All right,
Please.
there's one of our rerolls gone. Ange?
All right.
That was not much better. How about a 12?
12. So, while you are sort of walking around up on deck, there's something kind of bugging you. And you're not quite sure what it is, but something just feels out of place. Or feels not out of place. But it's just kind of tickling at the back of your brain.
Try to think about, like, I don't know, is it something that somebody said? Is it something that, like, Be one of those things that he wakes up in the middle of the night and be like,
Probably.
all right, well, we'll file that away in unsettling for now. Up. He'll sit and he'll like try to ponder and try to think about like
Well,
what.
that's all you're gonna get for now. So, all right. Anybody else do anything before you continue on your journey? No.
Probably trying to set up the cargo hold as the plant place now
Alright.
that we have more plants.
You have more
And
plants, and you did get some dirt. I believe we talked about from the previous planet. So you were getting set up. It's just more a matter of probably building some planter boxes and things like that. But you've had a week, so you're definitely coming along with that.
If Flora lets Lilac would at the very least like to offer to help weed or some of the more obnoxious gardening tasks.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but when we get there, definitely. We're still figuring out what pieces we can use to turn into planter boxes, and Niesel
You also
actually
probably
done
would have
couple
had a lot of wood you
trunks.
could have salvaged from that planet. You literally could have pulled the siding off of buildings and nobody would have cared. So you probably have
there
lots of
definitely
wood
have
and
a lot.
lots of other materials. It's just a matter of putting them together.
You can help me and Niesel put together the planter boxes and everything. You've got a hammer already.
That sounds great, yes.
We could use the help. He's kind of all thumbs. He tries.
I can't pick up the hammer because I have a puppet on my hand. Sentiment is there, though.
All
Now I
right.
really want to put the puppet in Peanut's hand.
Put
Aw,
the
thank
We have
you,
a pasta
Jesse.
peanut.
There you go.
Who do you? Okay, Dermot has him now.
Oh, but now
Pass
I
the
want to put
peanut.
the hammer in Peanut's
Oh,
hand.
gosh.
I don't think it's
Oh my god, it's adorable.
He can be in two places.
So you gotta be careful about handing him important things because he might just teleport away with it.
That's a good point.
So we did have a pass the peanut. I think Dermot is taking him.
Woo.
Yep.
All right. All right. So you guys had to sleep for the night after your very successful trade. You wake up the next day, and what do? Anything in particular?
I'm going to attempt to finish my gift for Jeremy.
All right.
It's a horn cozy, basically. With a little J embroidered in it. Little for him.
Dietrich, the captain comes in and finds you.
Hello, Captain. What can I do for you?
We did trade one of those cannons away, right?
One of them, yeah.
Because I have a full complement. We just did the inventory this morning.
So
they must have forgotten to take it.
Oh, they took the ammunition.
I'll have them check that next.
Or they took the bolts that attach it to the deck to make.
Definitely will check that next. Top priority.
They seem to. I inferred that they were wanting one of the cannons, but I could have been mistaken. They said, not in so many words, that they, their captain gestured suggestively at one of the cannons, and
I agree. Let's just check to see if anything else is missing. Just in case.
Right.
What else is near that cannon? Give me an intelligence check.
Okay. That would be that's a 17.
Okay, so 17. So you start to kind of recall that date, and as you're thinking about it, it was kind of on the side nearest their ship. There was really nothing between them and the cannon. There was the cannon. There's this large box of this sort of chest of that stores the ammunition and things for this cannon. It was one of the mundane cannons, not one of the magical ones. And other than that, there was really nothing else right in that vicinity that you can think of.
What about on the side of the ship?
Nothing on the side of the ship. There was no other items there on the side of the ship or really there. There was some rigging, I guess, that was there, but that's still there. You're sure of that. As you guys start to head up and you can look out on the deck, you check to see that the ammo is still there. So there was no other items around that you can think of.
Was one of the lifeboats on that side?
Nope.
Okay, so they didn't take Jeremy.
Well, Jeremy's not a thing. It's a person. When he talks.
Well, I didn't know if they wanted to trade for, some of them was on board.
Now that you think about that, there was somebody standing nearby.
Where's Ricky?
Oh, no.
Piper, as you're heading down the hall, you notice down in the crew quarters that the box out front of Ricky's door is still there that you left.
That's weird.
Ricky's the new peanut. Cargo.
Has anybody seen Ricky?
Who's Ricky?
It was his anniversary yesterday. I got him a present,
Today.
but I don't.
I know who Ricky
Today,
is.
and I put a present at his door, and
Whatever you're doing, stop, Tess.
I was pushing to talk.
Oh, okay.
That was all I was
You
doing.
can't talk anymore.
That was some passive aggressive bullshit, Logan.
No, her screen was flashing gray.
I know. I know.
I thought she was tapping out to another screen. Sorry.
Logan, can I just say that if you were a crueler person, we would have started this episode with every one of us going, tell us a story about how you've gotten to know Ricky and why you're
I
friends
thought
with
about
him.
it. I thought I wasn't making it obvious enough.
I crocheted him a red sweater was pretty obvious.
I thought the fact that he was an ensign was enough.
There was that.
Wow.
So who's gonna get demoted?
Kobolds ate my
as you start to
ensign.
search around and you realize Piper's looking and you start to hear people calling out, you search the entire ship and you find out that Ensign Ricky is not on board.
That is troubling.
Do you think they kidnapped him?
I think we might have
I'm not sure
traded
they see it as kidnapping. Yes.
I think they traded for him. The problem is we didn't know we were trading a person.
Maybe he went willingly.
Right. Maybe it's sort of like running off to join the circus.
or a sailor exchange program where we benefited
get some extra
tangibly.
credit.
Right. A study
Dietrich,
abroad.
Are you saying we now have to go look around for a stray kobold running around the ship?
Have you checked the inside of one of those sleeping bag butterflies?
Not since
Sleeping
the
bagger
last-
flies.
The Legend of Sleeping Baggerflies?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Butterbags.
Butterbags.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm not about that.
Why is it turned to butter?
See, that's a big callback.
Anyway.
That is a big callback. I love it.
No,
I
I
miss that
haven't
show.
checked the butterflies for any stray kobold.
So once again, you search the ship. There are no stray kobolds that you're aware of.
All right.
Well, shit.
When we meet? I mean, they said they would be back later.
Sure. When
Hopefully
we
they don't
needed
trade
them.
him away.
Or eat them?
I'm going to choose Lilac's perspective on the world and assume that the next time we see them, that Ricky will have made himself their king and everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably for the best. We need to keep an optimistic view. I take full responsibility for blaming my translators.
Well,
How very kind of you, Captain.
now we have a fully functional translator, so that won't happen again now, will it?
Well, I'm so glad that we are able to make the sacrifice to make sure it never happens again.
And we're out of Ricky's, so it won't.
I feel as if it's a bit gauche to not acknowledge Ricky. I highly recommend that we have a wake in his honor.
He's not dead. I mean, just because I left home didn't mean that I died. I just became awesome. So clearly the same thing's going to happen to Ricky.
It
Then we
really depends on
celebrate
the
Ricky's newfound life.
There you go.
really depends on the level of object permanence about the people in your life.
Who?
We should have lunch sometime, Captain. You seem interesting.
This was a bittersweet day. I'm not looking forward to many more.
Days or bittersweet ones?
Yes. Let's study these star charts and see if we can find our way home.
Or to the Topaz planet that we were heading to.
It's right there. Out there.
Right, well, full speed ahead then.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
That is where we're going to wrap up. I think we're going to change the name of this episode to The Ballad of Ensign Ricky.
Oh, Ensign Ricky.
No, it's the ballad
really-
of Ricky Ashy Bobby.
I was really expecting once you had the translation working and things, you might double check on some of these trades, but that didn't happen. So that's okay.
We have no way of finding them.
Nope. Now at this point, you're just
Okay,
gonna have to wait until they come back and find you.
I'm calling it now. Ensign Ricky's gonna be the big bad of this campaign.
No, we need to find somebody who has sending. Just send him a message.
Sending does
We-
not
we do-
work. It's
it does
transdimensional.
what?
Does not work in the
Yeah.
in the Nexus. So
No!
no abilities like that work here. They only work within the crystal spheres of the worlds. So
Yeah.
unless you find better magics.
Hard.
So yeah, that was episode 4. Kind of a bit of a shopping episode and selling episode. So that was good job. And we had some fun, and we learned some things about Peanut, and we had some wheels, and we appreciate those donations. They do keep us afloat
yes,
and
we
going.
do.
Thank you all very, very much. Not rest in peace. He's out there. Pass the peanut.
Who hasn't had
Now
the
remember,
peanut yet?
remember, whoever has the peanut is the person supposed to choose who gets the peanut. So
Okay, it goes to Dietrich again.
that way you guys can pick on each other. And what did we miss, Piper?
Nothing happened. Okay. Nothing happened at all, Kyle. Fuck you.
What did I miss? Okay. So I guess we'll figure that one out when we watch the recap or watch the video. Or is it in chat? Okay.
It was
Nope.
private.
behind the scenes.
Stop
Sorry.
freaking out to private. So thank you guys, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the raids. Thank you for the donations. Please remember that this week, because of the whole COVID-19 thing, we are working very diligently to continue to bring entertainment. I did a status of the Nerdsmith yesterday. You can go watch that on VOD on Twitch, and it'll be on YouTube soon. The long and short of it is we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. We're actually going to be ramping up some of our entertainments this week because we're trying to raise money specifically to help our creators that are being impacted by the COVID-19 quarantines and things. People have lost their jobs or had reduced hours. So we had a special event last night, which was Reader's Corner, where Angela was reading a wonderful little children's story. Is it a children's story?
Yeah, it's a children's story. It's family friendly, though a little misogynist at times. But it was back in I assume the 1900s.
Yeah. And then tomorrow is Wednesday. What do we have going on tomorrow?
Wednesday is Power Hour.
Power
We
Hour.
don't
Oh,
have
that's our
anything else
normal thing.
beyond
So we'll have the
that.
Power Hour. Then Thursday
Do
we've
we
got
want-
trivia with Matthew at 7 p.m.
Yes,
PDT.
Oh, Dumpstack Charisma, thank you so much for rating. We're just wrapping up, but please listen. We're trying to raise a little money for some of our creators who are a little down and out because of the quarantine measures. So we're just listing our
So
schedule.
we work with dozens of creators to create all the shows on the Nerdsmith Network. Some are independent, some are part of the network. A lot of them have been affected by the COVID-19 quarantines, and so they've lost their jobs, they've lost hours, as a lot of us are struggling. So we're trying to raise some money to help them out. So the donations from everything except this show, because this show helps us pay for the network, but all the other stuff we're doing this week, that's all going to go directly to them. Network's not going to see any of that. It's just going to go directly to them. And that'll be happening. We got a bunch of different shows happening. My favorite of which, my two ones I'm really looking forward to, all of them, but the trivia night with Matthew on Thursday, I'm very excited about that. And then Nerdsmith Sings Their Heart Out, Sings for Their Supper. Is that what it is? Sings Their Heart Out? I can't remember what you guys called it.
Sings their heart out.
That's
Well, Sings
Friday
Their Heart
at
Out for
7
sure.
p.m. PDT, I believe.
Yep.
We're gonna have a big special goal on that if we hit a certain amount that night in particular, that Pugnut the goblin is going to come out and sing, which means I am going to sing and destroy all of your earbuds,
Yes.
earheads. So,
Yes.
which will be horrible and comedic and not good
I
at
want
all.
Pugnut to sing Part of Your World.
I don't think I know that song.
That's his song.
So we will, and it will not be an easy goal. That will not be an easy one, I promise you.
But please join us for
But
Twitch
please join
Sings.
us,
We're gonna have
for
a
Twitch
ton of
Swings
fun.
and for the trivia night, and we'll do some other events next week too, either as a part of this or just trying to ramp up and do more entertainments as we are trying to keep people entertained during this time. Angela,
Logan, is that a donation over the course of the entire week or just
only
during
from
Twitch
that
Sings?
night.
Only from that night, Jesse.
Only
Hold
from
on.
that night.
I think they were going for a donation.
Yeah, only from that night. So it'll be from that night because I really don't want to sing. So it'll be from that night. We'll have those donations. But any donations that come in outside of this one show will be going to that. The only reason why this show doesn't do that is because this show basically pays for everything else in the network. So that's why it pays for all of our hosting and all of our Zoom and everything else we have to do. So that's what this show is for. So, but everything else we're going to go to those creators because we want to be able to help out in this time of need. And we appreciate everyone out there. We appreciate you social distancing. We appreciate your sacrifices you're making right now because they are vast and they are difficult right now, especially for you extroverts who are struggling with the need to be surrounded by people. You come into our Discord. I know it's not exactly the same. We do hang out there for about 20 minutes after the show and chat in our Discord. And it's a great place. We've quarantined all of the quarantine talk. So if you don't want to see it, you can avoid it. Or if you do want to see it, you can go find it. And other than that, you can come and just hang out with a great group of people who are going to be playing games. We'll be doing some community events. I know Jackbox Games has been mentioned more than once, so I'm sure that maybe next week or this weekend we'll be doing a few of those. Plus, Mittens, the kitten, has taken over several times this week, the last 2 weeks, for running some video game content on our channel here.
Little
And he is halfway through the Room 3 puzzle game. I'm sure he will be back to finish that. It's Mittens Midnight Society. You can find that on our VOD as well. All right. I think that's it. Thank you everyone for the follows. We got to a minor bonus today. Good job. So we did not get to another upgrade, and that's okay. But at least we're not going to deal with a disaster next week. And next week you will be arriving at the Topaz planet, the Topaz system, not just a planet. And I have some very interesting things going to happen there. So
no. I thought it was some guy named Topaz Calrissian. It's
Topaz.
not Topaz.
Nice.
I haven't made nearly enough Star Wars references yet. They've all been Star Trek, so I'll work on that. Anyway, so
Ferengi kobolds are amazing.
It's the rules of Draquisition. I put it in chat. I'm so happy that I was able to say it out loud.
That's amazing. So thank you guys again very, very much. We'll go ahead and do our intro vid as our outro vid, which was amazing. I want to thank Will Crossway again for that, and Jam. I don't know Jam's extended
Jam
name.
Day.
Jam Day.
Jam Day. It's what
Jam Day.
she goes by.
Cool. Who did the art for that, and we have new art coming also very, very soon, hopefully this week or by the end of next week at the latest. We'll have our shop open, which will have Mo t-shirts, we'll have Pride t-shirts, we'll have logo t-shirts, and we'll have maybe, hopefully soon, we might have some peanut t-shirts too. So
you did say you wanted to share that peanut art tonight. Do you want me to post it?
Yeah, go for it. I thought we did share it already.
It's motion.
You shared it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, we'll definitely share it. So yeah, it is by Ellie Skinner, an artist that we've worked with, done a lot of the Mo art for our products. Did this as soon as I told her about Peanut. She got very excited. Said, "I need to do art right now. What's going on?" And I explained that they're on a ship, and so she painted him with a little sailor hat on, and it is adorable. So there's that, and that will be coming. Maybe I'm thinking where's Peanut or something like that on the shirt. I don't know. We'll figure out something. Come up with a good slogan to go along with that. Let us know. And now I want a Peanut San Diego shirt with like a red trench coat.
Oh no, Logan. Give me a month.
All right.
And I will make a Where's Waldo.
Perfect.
I will do that.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you again. And we're going to do a raid, but we're going to go ahead and get our video started here, and then we'll go and probably raid our friends over at Perception Studio. Depending on who else, I'll take a look, see who else is on, but Perception Studio is usually who we end up going to. Thank you guys again, and we shall see you next week.
Raid Cry Pack.
Sailing the stars in search of a harbor. Won't you join our crew? Lilac steady, even when it gets heavy. Amidst the chaos, they'll see you through. Dietrich's disdain hides a gentler refrain to keep our spirits up. And where there's a fight, there's probably Piper. She's tiny, but she's tough. Curie will find what's hidden inside, discover secrets big and small. And there's Flora to smile through the horror and wonder of it all. Dermot the bear looks through his vacant stare, but they will fluff you up. So won't you come